The following is a presentation of Learfield. Welcome to Duck Insider.
Our whole athletic department, there's a level of expectations of success.
Throw, catch, touchdown, Oregon.
He can run and slam.
He's back out for a three. Left wing is good.
Deep to right field at the warning track. See ya.
Really excited that we get to rep our Ducks and hopefully come back to Eugene with some championships.
At the buzzer.
We have so many teams that are excelling right now. It's really fun to be a part of.
Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Huge win for Oregon.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Thank you. Welcome inside that Country Financial Studio. Good to be back with you in the Casanova Center. The Ducks getting ready for the spring game and a lot of other Oregon athletic events this weekend. And I do want to say, shout out to Oregon Beach Volleyball. Their senior day is coming up on Thursday. I'm, so excited to be able to sit here and say that's a program record for wins in a season this year, and they're going for another one tomorrow afternoon. Senior day out at Amazon Park, hoping that the weather is solid for the Ducks. Now, how about Oregon women's golf? Okay, if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, yesterday it was a back-and-forth day of rainy and windy conditions. Ducks ended up having to sit through a 5+ hour delay along with the rest of the field at Eugene Country Club in round 2. Then round 2 was suspended due to darkness. But the Ducks stormed into the lead. Ducks in first place heading into round 3. And if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, here's where we're at. Oregon, the number 2 team in the country. They currently have a 4-stroke lead just in round 3. They have a 7-stroke lead overall. Number 2 Oregon with a 7-stroke lead over number 1 Stanford. The Ducks are through about the 13th hole as a team, and the individual leaderboard, Ducks have the number 1 player in the Pac-12 tournament right now. Yesterday, Oregon's Cynthia Liu was 1 stroke shy of tying the individual round record in a Pac-12 championship. And she's currently in first place coming down the stretch at Eugene Country Club. We will have updates for you if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour. Tell you what, they started super early this morning in order to try to get not just round 2, but also round 3 in. I'm secretly hoping that the Ducks are like on hole 17 here when we wrap up in an hour, and I am jetting over to Eugene Country Club because Derek Radley's team is doing something pretty special right now. So if you're listening on one of our OSN affiliate stations later on in the day, you may have some updates to check via social media, but we will be following along all day here on the program. Baseball in Portland last night against a really good team, number 61 in the RPI. There's over 300 Division I baseball teams. Portland, number 61 in the RPI. Ducks got out to an early lead. Late comeback from Portland State, but the Ducks got it done. Rio Britton was really filthy. And Oregon in the process, Anthony Hall hit his 9th home run of the year. That ties him for the team lead. The Ducks hit their 56th home run as a team last night. One more and it's a team record. You know, last year Oregon hit 56 home runs the entire season. That was a single season record for the Ducks. They're going to do it again. They're going to do it again this year. One more home run and the Ducks have set a single season record for long balls as a team. 25th win of the year, and the Ducks, after all of the play last night, number 4 in the RPI. Ducks are number 4 in the RPI. They have the 6th toughest schedule in the country, and they are coming down the home stretch now into the second half of Pac-12 play, tied for first place with Oregon State atop the Pac-12 standings. Let's go Ducks. 6 o'clock first pitch on Friday, 3 o'clock first pitch following the Oregon football spring game on Saturday, and a noon first pitch on Sunday. Rio Britton was really good last night. Todd Miles got the chance to catch up with him post-game. Rio is he's got the stuff, I'll just put it that way. And it was fun catching up with him after he and the rest of the Oregon bullpen started a little bit slow. The Ducks walked a few too many hitters, but then Rio Britton really set the tone in the late innings for the Ducks.
I just felt good. I mean, the main thing coming into today was just getting better, and so just went out there trying to make adjustments and see how I can get better each and every day and help the team win. So I think once I just focus on that, I think it turns out better for everybody and we can just get the win.
Struggling a little bit as a staff throwing strikes early in the game. You came out and pounded the zone pretty well. You think that was important to maybe change the momentum a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, the momentum is an inning-by-inning thing or almost play-by-play thing. So I think just going out there, making pitches, and getting the momentum back on our side is what really turns the game around and gets us those runs to get ahead and get out in front so we don't have to worry about coming from behind or worrying about the next play. We can just play to our game and just have fun.
It's exactly what they did. Rio Britton with some good stuff post-game. One of many bullpen arms that have been a key for the Ducks with that outstanding offense. Oregon is a top 10 offense in the country in pretty much every category. This is an exciting brand of baseball that you're going to see here coming up. We also have a number of spring game interviews for you, previewing the Oregon football spring game that is going to be here before we know it. I should have said this earlier, but we're going to hear from guys like Steve Stevens, Bennett Williams, Triquez Bridges, Noah Whittingham, Special Teams Coordinator Joe Lorich, Jamal Hill, and Troy Franklin. A lot of interviews on the docket for you. We'll get to as many as possible. We also sat down with Mike Jorgensen earlier today. We have that interview for you tomorrow. When the voice of the Ducks, Jerry Allen, will be here in studio. We're going to talk all things spring game with Jerry coming up. I do want to talk a little bit of softball before we get to spring football because the Diamond Sports both got midweek wins last night. Solid pitching performance for the Ducks. Stevie Hansen struck out a career-high 12 hitters. Number 19 Oregon beat Portland State 5-2 on Tuesday night in front of over 1,400 fans at Jane Sanders Stadium. Dealing with a little bit of the weather. Thanks, fans. Appreciate that. Rachel Sid homered. Paige Sinicki and Kai Lushar both scored twice to back Hansen's best effort of the season. Stevie Hansen, I think that was the best effort that we've seen from her. A career-high 12 hitters, Ducks with a 5-2 win. That's the formula. You know, the offense has been scoring runs. They just haven't had the pitching, I think, to hold other really good Pac-12 offenses in check. Well, they did it and probably building a little bit of confidence from the Portland State win. Coach Lombardi, she met with the media afterwards.
Coach, how nice is it to get a win after what tough stretch, being able to have this midweek game where you're able to go start to finish?
Yeah, definitely. It was really nice to get a win. Just to see things that we were doing tonight or the same things that we were doing this past weekend. So it fell a little short, but just to see them continue with what they're doing. I'm excited about this team. I'm excited about the offense, what our pitching staff is doing, and also with the defense. So it was nice. I think sometimes midweek games can be tough because that's what they are. They're a midweek game and you can come in and just maybe go through the motions a little bit, and I didn't feel that from our team at all. I felt like we had really, really good energy from the start to the finish, and they were here to get after this game today.
What was your mindset for what you wanted to have accomplished in this game?
Yeah, I think for us just to continue. Like I felt like this past weekend we did a lot of really good things and didn't quite get the outcome. So just for them to see that the process and what we're doing, it's right, and just to keep, pushing forward.
Offensively, it seemed like Arizona was a real boombox down there where you were able to hit 11 home runs on the weekend. Is that a change, or is that just a little bit of the Arizona dry heat, or is just doing things right that have eventually translated?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. The ball's going to definitely go out there. It's just the air is thinner, but then also too, I think just kind of what Stevie was saying, we've been putting a lot of work in all areas, and I just think you're seeing that. You're seeing the work pay off.
We saw Hannah Gailey last weekend, 2 home runs. She came in for Jazz in game number 1, got the start in game number 2. Didn't get the start here tonight or in game number 3 against Arizona. Has she earned herself playing time, or are you trying to get everyone in that spot?
Yeah, no. Hannah's doing great. I'm very happy with Hannah. I think she just needs to continue to do what she's doing. She didn't start tonight, but I don't really get, that doesn't mean a whole lot of anything is what I would say.
One of the challenges you've given to the pitchers is getting ahead in the counts early, making less work on themselves, less pressure. What were you seeing tonight? I mean, it looked like that was happening.
Yeah, I thought Stevie did great. I thought she threw really well. I thought she was very, she located her ball really well. We've been talking a lot about how quickly can we get to 0-2, 1-2, and I thought you saw that happen over and over. I thought she did a really good job of stretching the zone, so making them look up, making them look down, and also side to side. So I thought she just gave a lot of good looks tonight. The girl hitting the triple and then her being stranded, I thought that was the highlight for me for Stevie, but I just thought she got better as the game went along.
Even to McKenna, she was getting ahead in the count early too. There was a couple of, was there anything critiquing wise, that you would say this is, one of the things that she could improve on in addition to getting ahead in the count?
For McKenna?
For McKenna?
Yeah, no, I think just
strong.
just to finish it off. So I was wanting her to get that inning in, and I think just to get in, see what it looks like, go back and look at a little bit of video, but just these guys have been putting in a lot of time, a lot of effort, and we're seeing it pay off. I think for us, the best thing that we could do right now is be home for these next, 6 games. So we just are thrilled to be home and get to play at our stadium, and I think you're going to continue to see them thrive in what they're doing. What
are the challenges you're presenting to the team? They seem to thrive on meeting those goals and expectations. What are the challenges that you're giving to the team going into this weekend series with UW?
I think it's just, again, another Pac-12 Super Regional. So just understanding what we're wanting to do in all 3 areas. When we're strong in all 3 areas, we're a tough team to beat. So it's just being strong in all 3 areas and being able to sustain through 7 innings.
Heavy lefty lineup today. Is there any reason why Jordan didn't get any action in the circle?
No, Jordan wasn't available today.
So for Stevie, she started the last 6 games. What have you been seeing differently from her rather than the other pitchers on the staff?
I think you're just starting to see Stevie come into her own. I think for all of our pitchers, the more that they step on the mound and throw, the more experience that they get. And I think that's just what you're seeing with Stevie. She's starting to understand what she wants to do with her pitches, how to get ahead, how to put, hitters away. I just think she's just growing and maturing and just getting the experience every time she steps out on the mound. And she's, Stevie quietly goes about her business, right? You never see anything change from her, but Stevie is a competitor. She competes, and that's something that we felt from her when we first started recruiting her. She's just a competitor. She just goes about her business. She's not afraid. Nothing's too big for her, and I like her composure.
And is that more of just her getting the experience in real time out in the circle, or is it more things that you and the coaching staff are working on with her throughout the season?
Both. You sit and you work on it and you practice, but then from there, you got to go into the game and see what it looks like. So I think just a combination of both, but just the experience that you get every time you step out on the field and get to play, I can't say enough.
How often do you emphasize stealing bases? There was 5 stolen bases today. I'm just curious, how often do you tell it to the players, like throughout the week, or even if you do tell them constantly?
We've worked really hard on our running game. We try to be extremely aggressive with our running game, so I felt like tonight we had some good opportunities to take and took them and did well with it. But we've been running all year, so it's to me, that's something that's just a part of what we do.
You were talking about putting the 3 facets of the game together. Game 2 last weekend, you guys had that, and
yeah.
The results were pretty obvious. What secret sauce or magic ingredient would you give to the team if you could to make it so that they have all 3 all the time instead of kind of missing one, firing on an off cylinder once in a while?
I don't know the secret sauce. So if you have the secret sauce, I'll take it. I think the experience that we're talking about with Stevie, I think the same thing, that same experience with offense, with defense, with pitching. So just understanding what we need to do to be successful every time we step out on the field. And I just think every time, we're playing, we're getting that experience and just understanding. Every single weekend has been a super regional for us. Like, we are ready. We will be ready. We just got to continue to finish strong in the pack.
It seems like Paige in the 9 spot has seen a serious uptick in her production once she's been moved to that bottom of the order. What went into the decision making to put her down there, and what have you seen from her at that 9 spot?
Yeah, I think the most important thing that our athlete in the 9 can do is to understand how to turn the lineup over. And I just think with her speed, her ability to hit the ball, but also to bunt for a hit, just gives her different options in the 9 to turn the lineup over. I think she does a good job of seeing and understanding the strike zone. So if it's a walk, but I just think she has the ability to turn it over, and I thought she's done very well with it.
One of the things that you talked about going into the ASU series was the time is kind of running out. So making all the improvements or gaining the experience, but there is a clock on that.
Sure.
The end of the season is coming. How is the team, would you say, coping with kind of making those progressions, but also realizing that they don't have an unlimited amount of time to get those results? They kind of have a clock on them.
Yeah, this team understands. We sit down and talk about the season and what it looks like, and in order for us to get to where we need to go, things that how it all has to fall into place. And so they understand. This group, you know, we've had a couple tough weekends, and these guys get right back up and they fight and go after it again. You know, there's no quit in this team. They see the big picture. I mean, you look at our body of work and what we've done up to this point. It's there. We just need to finish strong.
How much stress do you put into your, I'll call them seniors, but that version 1 group that you have, you know, a pretty solid core from that version 1 team? How much trust or faith do you put into that group to make sure that this version 4 gets over the finish line?
Totally trust them. I mean, that's our leadership right there, you know, and you know, we've had some tough times this year, and to be able to look at them and to fall on them and for them to help keep us going and understand, you know, how the pack works, they get it. I've been so impressed with them and how much they've matured and grown as leaders every single year. But what they've been doing this year with our group has been great. And you can see it. Our chemistry is excellent. These guys love each other. They want to play hard for each other. And even through tough times, you know, it's easy to want to split in this group. Just they stay united and figure out what's next. What do we need to do? And that's a testament to them.
Sorry, Coach. Going back to the question about base running, it seems like it's more aggression than base stealing in general. I think the Luchar triple was the best example of that tonight. Can you talk about how that mindset, you're planning on bringing that into the Washington series and for the rest of pack play?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just we work hard on our base running at practice. We do a lot of live situations, and we're always looking for opportunity to take the next base. So that's it. And just our team top to bottom runs very well. So when you have a team top to bottom that runs very well, I think it just gives you more opportunity. But it's just something from the fall that they've worked really hard on. I think we knew early on that we had speed and that we were going to be able to use it and to apply pressure with it, and it's something that they've worked on.
Hey, Coach. After recording a strikeout in the second inning, the Portland State pitcher appeared to give a taunting wave to Ariel on our way back to the dugout. Did that come up at all in the dugout? Did that spark anything? Because it was that next inning that kind of the offense started to get going a little bit.
No. We just do our thing.
Anything else for Coach?
How much stress do you put on hosting a regional in terms of these next 3 series getting it done so you can have the first postseason play here at the Jane?
I don't think we do anything like, there's no stress on this team. I think it's just they understand what they need to do. We've got great leadership to help us get to where we need to get to, and that's it. And then from there, we just take it one game at a time. Do we know that we have 9 games left? Yes, we do. Are we stressed about it or concerned? No. We just understand what we need to do, and that's it. I mean, honestly, that is it. If we get so concerned and worried about that, we have 9 games left and we're not going to get what we want. To me, it's just about playing loose, and right now it's about playing our best ball and being able to do it at home. That's what we're excited about. We haven't even peaked yet, and it's time for us to peak and to play our best ball right now.
How do you view the advantage of the potential hosting of a regional?
Yeah, I think we have plenty of opportunity to host a regional. I mean, you look at our body of work and what we've done, it's there. It's just finishing strong in the pack.
Finishing strong going to be important, and it is a huge advantage to have that regional at home. There's no doubt about it. We've seen that in a lot of sports around college athletics, particularly here at Oregon. When we come back, let's hear a little bit from Stevie Hansen. Career day for her in the Circle. Ducks going to need some more of that coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
What is dedication?
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
These are the sounds of a dinner that almost didn't happen. A dinner now served, thanks to people like you. Due to COVID-19, 17 million more Americans may face hunger. Feeding America is helping our neighbors in need. And if you're able, you can too. Donations are being accepted at feedingamerica.org/coronavirus. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Back in the Country Financial Studio, Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Oregon softball got a win last night against Portland State. I think starting to get that confidence back heading into another top 20 series. Washington is in town this weekend. Stevie Hansen, the Ducks are going to need a lot from her, and I think getting better and better as the season's gone on. In the circle. Career high in strikeouts last night. Stevie Hansen, pretty good performance.
Great game, Stevie. 12 strikeouts, unbelievable. I'm just curious, do you kind of go into each game with individual goals in mind for stats, or you go, one hitter at a time as a mindset?
For myself personally, it's very just one hitter at a time. I didn't even know that I had 12 strikeouts. Our one of our ladies came up to us and she was like, "Oh, career high." I was like, "Huh? I'm not high." Didn't know what she was saying. I was like, "What?" And she was like, "No, it's your career high." I was like, on what? I really don't pay attention to any of it.
How is a performance like this by you and the team? How's that help for games, non-conference, in between conference play? How's that help moving forward? To UW this weekend?
I just think it kind of just brings us all together, having another game during the week on the field just to play all of us together. I think it just sets us up ready for this weekend. After last weekend, we're all just pumped and ready to go for another weekend of games.
This is your 6th consecutive start. How's your arm feeling with that type of workload?
Just like normal, since high school, I feel like it's always been you always stay throwing as much as possible, so.
Did you do that in high school, pitches at number 1 every single game?
Not so much my freshman year or my starting years, but when I was reaching my older years, yes.
But you're used to this amount of innings.
Yeah.
And so being able to have an outing like this where you give up just 2 base runners in 6 innings on your 6th consecutive start, does that sort of amp you up for this next weekend going forward?
I think I'd like to keep the same mindset going into this weekend, just going one hitter at a time, one game at a time.
You talked about taking it one hitter at a time, one game at a time, but you really took it one pitch at a time. You had a lot of at-bats today that went deep, 11 pitch at-bats, 3-2 counts, just battling deep, yet you didn't surrender a walk. What were you kind of telling yourself as those at-bats went on? Just I can't buy it out.
My mindset definitely was just I'm gonna make her earn it. If she's gonna get a base, I want it to be something earned. I wasn't just gonna get myself out of my headspace and be oh, I need a strike, I need a strike. It was more of a just, if she hits it, make it be a good hit. Give her throw my good pitch, but see if she'll hit it good.
For sure. And are you telling yourself anything between innings? Are you reflecting on what just happened, or are you just getting ready for the next inning?
I have my meetings with Lombardi, but it's all just thinking one more inning, one more hitter, one more pitch, just keep throwing what I'm throwing.
What was the out pitch you were going to tonight? The one pitch, if you needed to strike out, what were you going to?
Definitely curveball.
You made a lot of great starts throughout your career here, but tonight it looked like you were making a concerted effort to get the first pitch strikes or getting ahead in the counts early, which is something that you kind of labored with a little bit. What was it that made it so effective for you tonight to do that?
Just preparation through the week.
Was it something that you were making a deliberate effort tonight to do, or was it just kind of byproduct of all the effort, all the work you put in?
I think this whole year we've been working a lot on like getting ahead and like putting hitters away, because like we get into deep counts and it's like we don't want to be giving them that many pitches and that many good pitches to possibly hit. So it's just been a lot this year of just trying to stay ahead and keep them guessing also.
Getting ahead of the count, really important. The numbers in both baseball and softball would tell you that if you get ahead 0-1, the opponent batting average drops significantly as compared to if you're behind 1-0. Numbers don't lie in that case. I think Stevie Hansen is a great example of that here last night. Career high 12 strikeouts for her. That was pretty fun, getting to talk with Stevie Hansen a little bit last night. Diamond Sports looking good. How about a check on the Lynx? 7-stroke lead for the Ducks. Let's go, Oregon women's golf at Eugene Country Club, Pac-12 championship. If you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, we'll keep you updated. When we come back, we're going to talk a lot of football. Tons of interviews to get to on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics, because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
It's time for today's STEM tip. Okay, you know recycling is important. No one wants plastic in the ocean. Here's a cool way to repurpose a plastic bottle. Build an awesome terrarium. Cut a large plastic bottle in half and fill the base with sand, pebbles, potting soil, and your favorite plant. I chose an African violet. Put the top of the bottle over your base and place it in the sun. Your plant will grow sealed in its own ecosystem. Fun, right? Learn more at She Can STEM. A message from the Ad Council.
Neil Armstrong waited 6 hours and 39 minutes to step onto the surface of the moon. Jackie Robinson waited 20 months to play his first game with the Brooklyn Dodgers. And even DiCaprio had to wait 22 years to win an Oscar. You can wait until your destination. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joy Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Oregon football spring game, 1 o'clock. All the details on GoDucks.com. Please bring a donation for Food for Lane County. Going to continue to honor our servicemen and women as well. I think that it's going to be a good day, and don't look now, but weather looks good. I'm not going to say anything, but it looks pretty good. We're going to hear from Joe Lorich. It's brought to you by the William Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with cancer care you can count on. Thanks to our friends at WVCI. Joe Lorich, special teams coordinator, got to know him a little bit talking with the media and what he sees from the special teams unit for the Ducks.
You obviously grew up in the Pacific Northwest, from Western Oregon, played there. How fulfilling is it to come back to Oregon and be able to coach in this state?
Yeah, it's awesome to come back home. You know, this has always kind of been my dream job, you know, looking at from afar. So really excited to be back home, raise my kids here. My wife's from Klamath Falls, so it's really a homecoming for both of us.
So take us into just philosophically for you in breaking up special teams individually as much as you do, because we hear that's a bit unusual to break it into that refined, individualized kind of groups.
Yeah, I think it's really important just because, just like on offense and defense, you know, your offense and defense don't meet together every day. That wouldn't make any sense because the O-line needs to hear different stuff than the running backs and the different stuff than the receivers and so on and so forth. Same thing on defense. So I'm a defensive coach. I was a defensive coordinator for a long time, so I just model it the exact same way. Like, I don't want guys to tune out in meetings, and oftentimes if you're talking about a different position, that happens. so it's just to maximize. And there's also some team building stuff behind it. You know, you get different coaches with different players, you get different player position groups with each other, and so there's a team building piece to it too.
So how many groups does it get broken into in terms of, if we're on punt return, is it?
Yeah, we just break it
guy
down. I don't
plus
want to get
gunners,
into
but-
specifics so people can copy my stuff. So we break it down.
How does Coach Lanny put an emphasis on special teams in the practices?
We start every day with special teams. You know, if you come to practice, you'll see the first 5 minutes after flex are given to special teams. So that's an emphasis point for us, and then we have another 15-minute period during practice, or 7.5 and 7.5 during practice. And I should have said also a special teams walkthrough before practice. So, you know, I would never go to a job if I had a choice where I didn't think there was going to be an emphasis on special teams. I wouldn't have come here if I didn't know that what Coach Lanning was going to do. He and I worked together at Arizona State and Memphis. We're really good on special teams at those places, and so he knows my system. I knew that he knew my system, and that's part of my system.
How far along has your group come since day one of spring ball till now? Just what stands out to you right now?
Well, I think the guys have come a long ways. You know, I think they've done a good job. They've really bought in. You know, I think they were hungry to be good. You know, we got in here and kind of illustrated, just over the last few years, a comparison between where I was at and where Oregon was, and not to really be about me or anything, but just teaching them. A big part of special teams is getting guys to buy in. You know, part of my job is sales, right? Like, no one comes here to be the right guard on punt. So how do I get someone to be the right guard on punt? Well, number one, how can it help them? I got to make sure that they know it can help them, which it can with NFL opportunities. And then number two, how can it help us, right? So I just illustrated to them, that where they've been in special teams. I took 4 years, and I think it was pretty eye-opening for the guys, and seeing the impact that it could have on games if we can flip that and turn it the right way.
Obviously, you're never going to be settled for a level of accomplishment, but are you seeing that buy-in? Are you seeing you progressing special teams wise where you'd hope to be?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you never know until you actually get live bullets, but from what I've seen from body language and demeanor and the way the guys are focused in meetings and the questions that are asked to me, the extra time that guys come up and spend on those things, I think it's there. But I'm a big don't talk about it, be about it person. But it seems that way right now, yes.
What are the origins of Scrape the Paint? Did you get that from somebody, or is that something you originated? Or?
Man, I've been doing it so long I can't remember, to be honest with you. Everything's stolen, so it's probably stolen from somebody. But it's what everything in the whole foundation of our special teams comes with two goals, right? Number one, own the ball, and number two, no penalties, which might sound like a really simple thing, but literally, that's all I care about. Like, I just want to own the football. I don't care if we're last in the country in punt return. I could care less. We won't be. I think my track record proves that. But the most important thing is to get the ball back to our offense. The most important thing is to not hurt yourself with penalties. If you really pay attention, like I do as a special teams coordinator, most people don't win games because of special teams. They lose games because they hurt. It has nothing to do with their opponent. They hurt themselves in special teams. And so it's important to me that we just have those two goals so that everybody in this building knows it and can recite it. Our guys say it every day. I have them actually verbalize it. It's how we start meetings. I say, what are our two goals? Number one, they all say it. Number two, they all say it. The janitor better know what they are. I want it very clear, specific, and concise. And it's in my time of doing this, it's proven that what you focus on, you get if you only focus on a couple things. And I think if we just improve, well, I know if we just improve in those two areas, we'll be much better.
When you talk about the areas that you want to improve and address, how much of what you're looking to get corrected in the puzzle you're trying to solve was schematic versus execution and some technique applied there, basically?
Yeah, I mean, you're always going to look at scheme, but scheme's very overrated in special teams. I believe that simplicity equals speed, so I'm going to have things be really simple. It's all really good stuff. It's all got a long proven track record, but I want guys to play fast. And then what I want to fix, again, is the things that hurt us, right? Like last year, Oregon had 16 penalties. Penn State had 9. As an example, I'm just using Penn State because that's where I came from. Oregon had 4 not own the balls. Penn State had 1 in 3 years. So, just flipping, just adhering to those goals and keeping it simple that way is my main focus.
Back to the position group thing. Can you just put in context how unusual that is? Are you aware of other schools doing that? Or?
I think I've seen some people do it in the NFL, but I think it's pretty unusual. You just have to have buy-in from the head coach and the staff, and there's a lot of organization that goes into it that makes it pretty difficult.
How did you come about, I guess, that concept?
Well, like I said, I was a defensive coordinator for a long time, And then I was working at Arizona State, and the head coach just said, "Why do you guys all do special teams that way? Why don't you just do it like we do offense and defense?" And it made sense.
When you coached with Dan in the past, was it ever a conversation or a plan that, you guys would like to coach together again in the future?
Oh, yeah.
When you got the
Oh,
opportunity?
yeah. Yeah, all the time. We always talked about, I don't want to be a head coach, so I knew I wouldn't be a head coach unless it was a real small college or something, but I knew he was, see, they're buying in. CTG is our change the game mantra. So I knew I didn't want to be a head coach at that level, but I also knew that Dan was extremely bright, going to be on a fast track, and so we always talked about when he got that opportunity, wanting to do it together. I had no idea that it would be at my dream location for a job. That just made it an extra bonus, but certainly I'm proud of him, and I'm excited to work for him and with him.
Having had the chance to look at last year's film, last year's number for the Ducks on special teams, where do you identify some areas of strength that you guys can build on?
Did you say have I or have?
Or what strengths have you identified from last year that you guys can build on special teams wise?
They have some returning production at punter and kicker. I think we can build on that. That's really, I'm not really looking at it that way. When you first get here, you're just kind of looking at what did they do? Are there any similarities? To be honest, I haven't even, since I got here, I looked at it for 2 days and haven't looked at it since, so I couldn't speak specifically to that. And then I also kind of really just watched it pretty quick to get an idea, but I didn't want to have a preconceived notion of people. That can kind of give you blind spots, and so I didn't really focus too much on that. I just zipped through to see the scheme stuff, like was there similarities, was it going to be a lot different, that kind of thing.
What's your philosophy on basically there's plenty of places where they look at special teams and say, okay, the guys toward the bottom of the depth chart or on the 2 deep, okay, but the starters maybe a little bit less, whereas there are others who they say nobody's immune to it, everybody goes out
so
there.
Every starter besides offense, O-line, D-line, and quarterbacks can be on 2. They can start on 2 units, and everybody that starts on offense or defense besides O-line, D-line, quarterbacks should start on at least 1. If not, then they should rest on offense and defense.
You said you were more about players who be about it rather than talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen any players who have been about it that are trying to earn a spot on the actively on special teams?
Yeah, I think they all are. Yeah, I think they all are. They're really bought in. They're excited about it. Again, I think when you get there, the first meeting I have and you put those numbers up, it's kind of glaring. I mean, we've been 115th in the country, 117th in the country, 109th in the country. I think when you do that and you say, well, guys, you were 12-2 that year. Maybe if you're top 15, you're 13-1. I don't know. I didn't go back and watch that, but it certainly would have helped, right? And then I think you also equate it, because they're all offensive and defensive players, and say, would those numbers be okay on your offense or your defense? No way, coach. Heck no. Well, and it can't be okay in this area, right? And then I also show them other teams, like I showed all the playoff teams every year for the last 4 years. I showed Oregon stats, I showed Penn State stats, then I showed Alabama, Clemson, whoever they were, I can't remember, and said, okay, here's where those people finished. And every year, there's sometimes one outlier, like I think Clemson one year because they had just an amazing offense, but all the other teams, they're in the top 20 in special teams also, because that obviously has a huge impact on your winning. So I think when the guys saw that and then also see how we do things, I think it helps with the buy-in.
Is that something that you've showed in the players, and this could also be your pathway to the next level? Because you talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the things that I definitely emphasized for them and showed them. Micah Parsons at Penn State. Micah's one of the best linebackers in the NFL, and he was on 2 special teams at Penn State. And showing them that Devontae Smith, who won the Heisman Trophy, he was on 3 special teams, and he was mad he wasn't on 4. So, illustrating that to those guys. Like I said, how do you start? How's it going to help them first, and then how's it going to help our team second is how I go about it.
Camden Lewis has had some incredibly high highs here, and he's had some.
Who'd you say?
Cam Lewis.
Yep.
He's had some lows too. What's been your progress with him through camp, and just what have you seen from him as a kicker?
I think he's doing a good job. We're going to bring in some competition for him. I think we need more competition. I think just like at every position, when you have someone that's pushing you that could possibly beat you out, I think it motivates you. So we're going to bring in some more competition for him.
To your defensive group specifically, just what does Jamal bring to that through obviously the production, we know that historically, but what do you see in him that makes him cut out for that nickel role?
Well, I think one of the things about him is he's tremendously smart. He's got great work ethic. He works really hard. It's really, really important to him. and he spends extra time. You know, people may or may not know, but he's like a junkie. He walked in, actually, I think it was yesterday, walked in with me, you know, an hour and a half early before he had to be at meetings. Spends extra time. He's a team guy. He's just someone that I think the Oregon fan base can be really proud of. I mean, the stuff he does behind the scenes is pretty special.
And Bennett in that same capacity is, again, one of those 60-year senior guys who's done it in a variety of ways.
Yeah, I see Bennett very similar. You know, Bennett also is in a really big role because he's playing multiple positions for us, because we feel like we want to have him trained at different things. So he's got to be smart to do what he's doing. I think he's playing 4 different positions, and so he's embraced it really well, has a great attitude every day, and again, he's a guy that I'm really proud of.
That's Joe Lorich, special teams coordinator for the Ducks, also working with the nickel position. That's why you heard him talking a little bit about those guys there toward the end. And tell you what, I really like what Joe Lorich brings. I mean, his numbers, he kind of talked about it, like they speak for themselves a bit. Numbers are impressive for special teams. I've often said that special teams are the thing in sports that if you get talked about post-game, it's either because something went really bad or there was a game-winning field goal. Other than that, it's got to either be the really high or the really low. You know, that's kind of when special teams comes up. So I loved what he said. Like, you're not necessarily going to win games with special teams, but you don't want to lose games with special teams. You want to be top 20 in all these categories. I love it. Absolutely love it. Show him the numbers. When we come back, he was talking about Bennett Williams. We're going to hear from him next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
Money isn't interested in the fact that you dream of going to Greece, and it doesn't pace at night wondering how you'll pay for braces 3 times. The point is, money without people is just money. Only people can use it to run the family ranch, buy their first house, or adopt a happy old dog. To us, the powerful thing about money isn't money at all. It's helping you harness the power of yours. On Point. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s, like go back to college, learn to skateboard. Whoa. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. At aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a free 3-minute chat with the friendly digital retirement coach, Avo, and receive personalized tips to help boost your savings. Start chatting with Avo today at aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. We heard from Bennett Williams earlier this week. He talked about a number of different topics, why he came back. You heard a little bit of that earlier, but now continuing, talking about what spring ball's been like and what the Ducks are anticipating here moving forward. And he's playing a lot of different positions, and he certainly is one of the leaders on this team. Bennett Williams, let's hear from him.
So, who are some of the guys you're watching tape of in terms of how it applies? I'm trying to remember who their nickel was. Ringo? Was there?
Ringo played corner.
Okay.
I look at
Scene at all?
I look at Petrie from Baylor. So, and that's not necessarily scheme wise, but just in the way that Coach Prowledge had him playing. I watched his film and try and play a similar brand of ball. Ringo, Scene, whatever, number 16. Look at his a lot. I'm playing boundary safety, so look at a lot of his film and stuff. Yeah, those guys. That's a good tape you want to watch for sure to model a defense.
With a new position coach in Powledge, just what's that relationship been like? Learning, what he wants out of your position and just how things are run. How's that been?
I like the guy a lot, just as a person, first and foremost. Great dude. As a coach, he's brilliant. Just on top of everything, really, really technical. And so that's something that I've been, exposed some of my weaknesses in terms of footwork and just technique and stuff. I'm a very instinctive player, so, honing those things in and getting that down will make me, take me to that next level and make me an elite player.
How much more difficult is that aspect when you guys have this positional rotating, and like you said, you're kind of working in a couple different spots?
So what was the start of that question? Sorry.
How difficult, is kind of tapping into that technique?
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a load on me in terms of learning all the positions, but I feel like I'm handling it pretty well. Just takes extra time in the film room. You know what I'm saying? Anything can be accomplished with a little more work, and so I've been in the film room working with Coach Prowledge, meeting extra with Coach Lorich, who's our stars coach, just to make sure I have it all down, so I don't go out there and not know what I'm doing at any given position.
When Coach Lanny talks about increasing the havoc rate, and you guys are losing the nation's leader in interceptions, and the quarterback of the defense,
yep,
and your leader in pass rush, and there's a drop there, and you guys are lacking in sacks.
Yeah.
You were a guy who was creating a lot of havoc when you were on the field.
Yeah.
How much of an onus do you feel that when you are out there, that role, whether it's you or Jamal for that matter,
yeah,
is a big part of what they're trying to do?
Yeah.
So you always want to cause disruption, but what you do is so important to getting that done.
Yeah, and that's the first thing that we, as a defense, one of our main goals, our identities, is ball excellence, right? And making plays with the ball, and that's something I definitely pride myself on. And I think, that ball disruption and getting, making havoc plays, whether, we're going to be solid as a defense, right? Not give up too many yards, but you get those type of big plays, and that changes the game. And you look at you get +1 in the turnover ratio, and it's like you get a 68% chance to win. You get +2 in the turnover ratio, now it's up to almost 90%, right? So we can, create 1 or 2 of those plays a game. Hopefully, we're looking for 3, and it, changes the whole tide of the game. And so for guys like me, guys like Maul, who can get their hands on balls and fly around and be disruptive like that, that's huge in terms of what Coach Lanning and LaPointe are looking for.
How much are you bouncing between position rooms? Like, are you with Prowledge and Lorich? Are you with one?
Yeah, so I've been doing both. On any given day, week, what I'm saying? It could be I'm with the stars for a week, and then over today I was back with the safeties for the first time. And it's just to have a balance. So I'm not forgetting stuff or installs, for one position against the other. So I've been, bouncing back and forth.
Have they given you a timeline on how long they want that to continue? Or do you think this could be something that carries on to the season where you're swapping positions?
Yeah, no, there's no timeline on that. I think I'm fully prepared for this season to be playing whatever position. And I'm sure it's going to be more than just one throughout the season, right? I won't just be put at just one position. I'm fully prepared. I don't think it'll be a meeting room swap every day type of deal, but there'll definitely be a mix of all that stuff. So I'm going to be ready to play at any position and play at elite.
Camden Lewis brought up there's been some changes with more reps for his side of special teams. You're a guy that's been on a lot of units. Are you seeing any changes special teams wise with this new staff?
Special teams is it's a main focus. We start every day with it, and we do, every day we do fundamentals, 5 minutes of daily skill fundamentals. To start every practice that most people don't get. We didn't necessarily get, last year. So putting that emphasis on special teams, and you saw Coach Lorich at Penn State, their special teams was, really, really good, top in the country. Because of the stuff they do, they keep it simple and they do it fast. And so we put a lot of time into special teams, and you can see it already. It's taking shape, and it looks good so far.
How different or similar is scrape the paint versus save the block, the techniques?
Similar. Very similar. Save the block. I don't think we had as much technique necessarily in save the block as this scrape the paint. It's a little more. Technique. There's a little more technique.
And you're not going to be running around with your hands up. Your palms are not going to be
right. We're not putting our hands up because that looks like you're guilty.
Mm-hmm.
So save the block. You want to get your body in front, but make it look like a block, and it should be a block to just get in front of between the defender and the returner.
You talked a little bit about Gonzo earlier. Coach Lanning said that he was more of a silent, shy leader. Have you seen that at all?
Yeah, so he, I love Gonzo. He's an incredible player and going to be really, really good for us at corner this year. He's not going to be a rah-rah guy, not out there super talkative, kind of like a silent assassin. I like that nickname. Might have to throw that on him.
Yeah.
But he is. He's quiet. He's not going to say much. Not going to celebrate. Talk a lot of crap in your face. But man, the way he plays speaks for itself.
Why do you love him?
I love the kid. He's a great kid, and that's how I always judge. Judge off the character first, and so that's super important to me. And just hearing him open up a little bit from being that shy kid to now he's starting to get more comfortable with us guys, and it's just really good to see. And I love his work ethic. I love the way he plays the game. He's just tenacious, and I love that.
Verone was obviously such a vocal leader, like James said, he was the quarterback back there. Who do you think has kind of filled that void the most?
I hate to be like that. I hate to, say that guys are coming in and have to replace somebody or you know what I'm saying? Because it's going to be a different identity for every defense. We got guys back there, Triquez and B.A., Brian Addison, Steve, that are going to be able to play, multiple positions. Those guys are super long, right? Different from what Verone was going to give you. They're long and rangy. And now I think, it's going to have to be more of a collective effort. As a defense, we're all going to have to be on the same page. You can't rely on, Verone back there to, correct your mistakes, possibly. But, I don't think it'll put, a little more pressure on all of us to be able to communicate. So it's going to be, I think it'll be good for us, to be honest, to try and find that replacement.
That's Bennett Williams. So much good stuff from him. Really looking forward to seeing him back out there for the Ducks. He said he wanted to play in the bowl game. He did that. Ducks certainly glad to have him back. He's going to be playing multiple different positions. Love to see it. And I thought it was interesting, too, him talking about the way they go about the technique on special teams. You're putting your hands up. You're a little bit guilty maybe on special teams. It's like the basketball player that, shoves the shoulder on a screen and then puts the hands up. I get that. I understand what he's talking about. When we come back, we're going to hear from Jamal Hill. He talked about him, called him Jamal Hill. We're going to hear from him next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse? Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph, when blam, ran right into the side of the saloon. Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Finishing up today's show in the Country Financial Studio, hearing a little bit from Jamal Hill. He's been on special teams, playing different defensive back positions for the Ducks. Another guy that I think has a lot of position versatility. He talked with the media this week.
So what stood out? There's your 12 practices of spring ball. What's been your biggest impressions in this new defense and your opportunities?
Just the energy. I feel like the overall energy has been great throughout these 12 practices. Just our playmakers making plays, and I think we find out who our real leaders are. So,
how do you fit in this defense? Just in your thoughts of just how it maximizes your skill set.
Sure. I mean, I'm playing the star position right now, but I've just been open to whatever the coaching staff has asked me to do. And,
yeah. Is it just star so far for you?
Yeah, just star right now.
We just spoke with Coach Lorich and talked about the commitment to special teams and how some players are really embracing that. Have you kind of seen that, and how's that maybe been felt in practice?
Most definitely, because I feel like as a group, we don't feel like we was where we needed to be on special teams last year, so we just been using that as a point of emphasis to get better every day.
When you say more where you need to be, what are kind of some of those areas that stand out?
I say all phases, like not to single any one area out, but all phases. I just feel like we feel like as a team we can all get better at special teams.
Why do you think that was last year?
I couldn't really blame it on like just one particular thing. I just think like mindset as a team, like we just need to be serious on all phases of the game. And special teams is one of those big areas.
Just your versatility. Like, how can playing like special teams help that in the long run?
I mean, just being on the field. If you're on the field, you can make plays, and special teams is another play. It give you opportunity to make plays.
Do you see the added emphasis of skill work in practice, the first 5 minutes of practice? Do you see that paying off already?
Most definitely. Like our daily skills portion of practice in the beginning, it shows up in every special team period we done had so far. So.
What are you hoping to see either out of yourself or out of this defense come spring game on Saturday?
A lot of things, but just making plays like we've been doing these last 12 practices. Everybody haven't been able to see it, but Saturday we just want to make plays, fly around on offense and defense, because we got some real explosive guys on offense that a lot of people haven't seen, but you feel me, we got a lot of stuff on defense a lot of people haven't seen too, so we would.
A lot of stuff on defense people haven't seen too. Saturday we're going to see it at Autzen Stadium, 1 o'clock. Pac-12 Network's got the TV broadcast. We've got it out on the Oregon Sports Network as well, part of the Duck Day festivities. Oregon track and field, Oregon soccer, Oregon football, Oregon baseball, Oregon softball, all in action on Saturday, Duck Day. Details on GoDucks.com. Jamal Hill, Bennett Williams, Joe Lorich, Stevie Hansen, Coach Lombardi, Rio Britton. And it might be a Pac-12 championship for Oregon women's golf. If we're live with us right now, approaching 2 o'clock, the Ducks are, with some teams in the clubhouse, Oregon is through hole 16. The Ducks have a 9-stroke lead. Updates tomorrow. Let's go Ducks.
Is that a faucet running?
That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest, cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the